Hi everyone. I'm glad to have you back up and learning. Having to create new ways to teach you guys certain concepts that are hard to explain just by, talking. So I created this video and I'll be creating some more. And today we're going to be learning about context clues. Feel free to pause this video if you need to make notes or anything like that. Ms. Carrasco, what are context clues? Context clues are basically the information that we use when reading. So basically what happens is when you're reading and you come across an unfamiliar word, it takes away from your understanding of whatever it is that you're reading. Sometimes we can always just pause what we're reading and go to a bookshelf, grab a dictionary, and look up the word. However, sometimes it takes a long time. So by the time you come back to your book, you're like, where was I? You can also just pull out your phone and look for the definition of a word. But let's just hypothetically say that you don't have access to the internet or don't have a phone. So that option is out of the question. When that happens, we want to go ahead and use our context clues to figure out the meanings of words. In order to understand what context clues are, we need to understand what the word context actually means. So let's go ahead and look at the word context. Okay. The word or the prefix con in the word context means with. It is actually Latin origined. The word text in the word context is also Latin and it means written words. Okay. So, and then we also know that clues are things that we find in our everyday life that helps us solve a problem or a mystery. So when you put the whole word together, context clues. The clues within a text that a reader uses to figure out what an unfamiliar word means. So let's go ahead and look at the types of context clues that are available for us. There are many different ways that we can find clues within our reading to find meaning to an unfamiliar word. I have here the mnemonic LEADS to help you remember the types of context clues that you can use when reading. The first one is logic. It's using inferencing skills to figure out what makes sense. Then we have E, which stands for examples. Examples of what an author uses that helps us describe what a word might mean. Then we have A for antonym. When the author uses words or phrases that have an opposite meaning. Then D for definition. Sometimes the author will tell us exactly the definition for that unfamiliar word. Then last, synonyms. When the author uses other words or phrases that have similar meanings to that unfamiliar word. I have no idea what I'm doing, Ms. Carrasco. That's okay. Let's look at the word logic. Logic is an example from our LEADS mnemonic, and it is a type of context clues that we can find in our reading. You have to use your noggin to find out meanings for words. Let's look at this example. Michael was too exhausted and vexed to clean his room after his little sister had scattered the toys again. The unfamiliar word in this sentence is vexed. We have to use the surrounding information within the sentence to figure out what this word might mean. If you look at the surrounding information, we know that Michael is exhausted or tired, but he's also something else. He's vexed. To figure out what this word means, let's take a look at what the rest of the sentence has. What would someone feel if they had to pick up the toys again? They could feel mad, upset, irritated, or annoyed. The correct definition for vexed is annoyed. Let's look at another example of a context clue that you can use within reading. Remember that examples are relating ideas that describe a concept or word. I generally enjoy spending time with my friends, but really my avocation is art. For instance, I like to paint, draw, or do anything creative to pass time. Notice that the unfamiliar word here is avocation. We know that we are giving an example because we have the phrase for instance, and then it's followed by examples of types of art. For example, painting is a type of art, drawing is a type of art, and also doing anything creative is part of doing art. So if avocation equals things that we enjoy doing to pass time, then we know that an avocation could be another word for a hobby or a minor occupation. Let's look at another one, antonyms. Remember that antonyms are given to us as words that have opposite meanings as the unfamiliar word. Think of it as colors. The opposite of red is green. The opposite of blue is yellow. Sometimes we can see opposite meanings of words within our reading, just like in colors. Brianna's cake looks screwed, unlike her more experienced opponents' symmetrical cakes at the Cake Wars competition. The unfamiliar word is skewed. We know that we are given an antonym because of the keyword unlike, which is followed by another adjective, which is symmetrical. Brianna's cake looks skewed, but her opponents' cakes look symmetrical. Symmetrical means straight or parallel. And the opposite of symmetrical is asymmetrical, which means not straight. This tells me that skewed can mean crooked. It's asymmetrical, crooked, or slanted. Did you see how we used antonyms to find meaning to the unfamiliar word skewed? Let's go on to definition, another type of context clue we can use to find meaning in words when we are reading. The author gives you the straight definition of a word without having to use a dictionary. Ariana believes that publicly standing up for what you believe in is what advocating is. The unfamiliar word is advocating. What is advocating? Well, the author is giving you the answer just right there. It means publicly standing up for what you believe in. In fact, if we were to reverse that sentence, you could actually find that advocating is what Ariana believes, that publicly standing up is what you believe in is. Next, synonyms. Another type of context clue to use when reading. Synonyms are words with similar meanings. Let's take a look at this green color. There are different shades of it, right? But they still kind of fall into the same category. They're all different shades of green. Just like synonyms, in reading, we can find other words that have similar shades of meaning. Some key words that can help us find synonyms are or and other words. Let's look at the sentence. The putrid or rotten food in the refrigerator sent her running out of the kitchen. The unfamiliar word is putrid. Notice the keyword or that gives us the synonym rotten. This means that another word for putrid is rotten. Let's look at it overall. These days, I feel confined within the walls of my bedroom as we are forced to stay indoors. I wonder if there's ever been other quarantine times in history in which people have to stay inside their houses or can't visit their friends because they might catch the new coronavirus. Honestly, it's not all that bad. Yes, I feel trapped sometimes, but really, exploring new hobbies have made me feel emancipated. My newly discovered avocations include Sudoku or a puzzle where you put numbers in a grid. It really helps me pass time. They say that Sudoku is a great brain exercise that helps people be perspicacious or more alert and intelligent. I guess it's one way to look at the bright side of things today. Let's go ahead and identify our unfamiliar words. Confined, quarantine, emancipated, Sudoku, and perspicacious. To find meanings to these words, we're going to use our mnemonic leads to help us use context clues to find meanings to these words. Once again, we have logic, example, antonym, definition, and synonyms. So if I am forced to stay indoors, confined should probably mean like I am trapped, right? I think that's how I would feel if I was forced to stay indoors. Good. Confined means to be entrapped or settled in. Quarantine. If you look at this word, it's followed by examples of people who have been in quarantine, which is people have to stay inside their houses and can't visit their friends because they might catch a new coronavirus. These are examples of people being in quarantine. We used an example type of context clue to find meaning to the word quarantine. Let's look at emancipated. Honestly, it's not all that bad. Yes, I feel trapped sometimes, but really exploring my new hobbies have made me feel emancipated. So we know that we are giving an antonym because we have the keyword but. So it's telling us that sometimes they feel trapped, but not always. Sometimes they feel emancipated. So the opposite of trapped would be free or not trapped. And that gives us the definition for emancipated as free or liberated. Let's look at the next one, Sudoku. We're giving a straight definition of what Sudoku is. We know because we're giving a keyword or, which is Sudoku is a puzzle where you put numbers in a grid. That was another type of context clue that the author gave us. Let's look at our last word, perspicacious. They say that Sudoku is a great brain exercise that helps people be perspicacious or more alert and intelligent. I know I'm giving a synonym because it's given me the keyword or and two other words that could mean the same thing as perspicacious, which is alert and intelligent. Good job. This is how you find meanings to words using different types of context clues within reading. Let's go ahead and review. Context clues are the clues that effective readers use to find meaning to unfamiliar words, such as logic, examples, antonyms, definitions, and synonyms. Remember that you have a mnemonic that can help you remember these. L, E, A, D, and S. Thank you all for joining me in this lesson for today on context clues. Hopefully you found this lesson helpful, and join me again next time on another lesson with Miss Carrasco Teaches.